Hey there everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Puborama, and in today's video, we'll be breaking into this week's Double Money in Grand Theft Auto Online, which is Special Cargo. It is one of the best weeks that we have seen in a very long time. Somebody made a pretty good point in my comments section yesterday for the weekly update video, which was player numbers were probably down for GTA, so Rockstar put a double money weekend, and all the players are coming back, especially the heavy grinders, and it wouldn't even surprise me if that was the reality. But today, I am not going to be complaining, because we are going to be taking advantage of Special Cargo. I am on my Broke to Billions account that I started just a few months ago, and this is where we are going to be taking advantage of the Special Cargo sales. My main account has 5 large warehouses, and I will probably have a video up later this week where I'm going to spend probably the next 15 hours of my life grinding those large warehouses just so I'm able to obviously get the maximum of, what is it, like 3.6 million each warehouse? It's absolutely sane. But we obviously do not have that ability on my Broke to Billions account yet. I'm going to save up for some larger warehouses in the future so we can obviously use Lupe and the assistants. But for now, I am stuck to one small warehouse. It's not the biggest deal ever, because I can still fill them up over and over and over. So we are going to not only be getting the final 3 crates I need to fill my warehouse today, but we are going to be heading over to a public lobby and seeing just how much money we can make from a small warehouse that I purchased for about $200,000. Oh, I got super lucky. This is just a singular vehicle, and it doesn't even look like I have to deal with cops or any sort of guys that want to shoot at me. Literally, we just picked up our awful Boxville, and we have to drive 1.5 miles, and there we go. Special Cargo has been delivered. That was pretty dang easy. How much money do we have in this warehouse? $480,000 worth, because it is double money. That is actually really, really solid, I'm gonna be honest. And the bonuses just keep on coming. For example, this week Rockstar is also giving an additional $200,000 for doing literally nothing but a sale mission. The first $100,000 is given if you do a sale mission in general. The second one is given if you complete a sale mission worth more than $500,000. Now this sale mission is $480,000. However, we are selling in a public lobby, which has over 21 people. And what that means is we're going to get the high demand bonus, which is going to give us an additional chunk of cash. So ideally, we should easily be making an additional $200,000 from this sale mission if we do everything properly, which actually means, yeah, we're going to be making a lot of cash here. So I am going to have to make my way all the way over to the airport. Thankfully, the building that I own is actually quite close to the airport, so this shouldn't be too long of a drive. Now, this is a little bit sus, because as I said, we are in a full public lobby. Let me see if we have the CEO ability to go off the radar, and we do. We have Ghost Org as an ability, which is always nice. I always recommend, especially if you are a newer player and you don't have much experience, especially flying planes or things like that, and completing these missions, and you're doing them in public lobbies, make sure that you are also doing them with Ghost Org activated. Now, we have somebody that was behind us, but it looks like, oh, I took the wrong turn. But it looks like he wasn't trying to chase us or anything like that. My advice when it comes to these sale missions is fly as high as you possibly can. Some of the missions, they don't let you fly high because you'll get cops or something like that. But as we can see for this one, it's not an issue. You'll notice there's an Akula down below us, and I don't want to, have a problem with that player at all. Looks like he's actually fighting somebody. But if you go really high in your planes, people usually don't go at high altitudes. So for the most part, people tend to not see you flying very high. They don't want to go out of their way to fly 8 million meters in the sky to catch you. So I usually put my plane at a slight, maybe 20-30 degree gradient like this. so that I just keep flying up and up. The other reason I like to go super high is because people on the ground cannot see you. With homing launchers, they cannot see you with snipers for the most part. Just makes life a lot easier. So at this point, we're basically safe from the majority of firepower. And the other great thing is that when we actually make it to the drop-offs, we just nosedive the plane down, and we get to the ground in like literally 10-20 seconds anyway. So it's not like flying up really has downsides. We can see our first drop-off right in front of us, and this is obviously going to be quite easy. Let's just fly right over the area, and boom, drop-off 1 out of 10 completed. Okay, well, we can see the next one as well. That's the one nice thing about these drop-offs is there are flares everywhere. We can actually see another one all the way in the distance. So, ideally, all we have to do is fly over each one of these drop-offs, complete them. There are some people in this area. We have a player all the way in the distance there, and I did see another player somewhere in front of us, but I don't really care. It's not much of a problem for me right now. Nobody seems to be causing issues, so we're just going to keep on doing these drop-offs, and here comes number 2. We are down to our final drop-off, which is right in front of us. I didn't even have to go into Ghost Organization because this was a super chill lobby. I always make sure to scope lobbies whenever I'm doing a sale mission, but there you go. $720,000 for literally one of the most basic sale missions ever. And as you can see, we completed our weekly challenges. We sold a lot of money, $500,000 across one singular business. So I just made $900,000 for literally the simplest sale mission ever. We made $700,000 just from doing the sale mission alone in a public lobby and getting the high demand bonus. And then we also got an additional $200,000 for doing the weekly challenges. As I said, one of the weekly challenges is simply completing a sale mission. The other, as you saw on the bottom of our screen, was completing a sale mission worth over $500,000. Even if it wasn't worth over 500 like ours, all you have to do is sell in a public lobby, and because we made $700,000, it counts, and boom, we just made 900 grand. That's actually insane. There's one last question for today's video, and that is, should you buy large warehouses? This is a very important question in my opinion, mainly down to the fact on how expensive the warehouses are. If we make our way to the map of all of them, and we select on large, we can see that some of these large warehouses are setting you back $3 million. And while you are able to earn double money this week, you might notice that they are not 30% off for any of the warehouses. It is only CEO buildings and the upgrades in the buildings that are 30% off. In other words, kind of useless. So yeah, purchasing any large warehouse is not going to save you any money, and woo, that one there is worth $3.5 million. On my main account, I own these 4 warehouses, which go straight down the strip, and then I own this last one here. That's mainly down to the fact it's very easy just to traverse down to each one when doing cargo sources or getting Lupe to source me goods. Now here's my take on large warehouses. First of all, you should never ever buy them unless it is the last business that you're purchasing in the game. Warehouses really don't earn that much money. And even if you're using Lupe, the max amount of income you're going to make is around $144,000 on average. Unless you have like a double money week, which, you know, this week you'll be earning $280,000 an hour. But still, it's not really that much money when you could just do a simple Cayo Perico heist or an agency job and make very similar money. Especially judging that, to purchase 5 of the cheapest large warehouses, it's going to set you back $12 million. That's without even adding in the upgrades you're going to need for each warehouse when it comes to upgrading the armor, bulletproof effectiveness of each of the vehicles if you plan on selling ever in a public lobby. So when you add those things in mind, purchasing all these large warehouses is going to set you back an insane amount of cash. And while the double money bonuses are great, I personally would not recommend to buy large warehouses, again, unless it is the last properties that you have not purchased. If you're a new player or you are a fairly, you know, newly set up business player and you only have something like the Cayo Perico Heist going right now, I would highly recommend to get properties like the Agency, to get things set up like the nightclub before you invest all of that money in warehouses. That is going to take you a lot longer and a lot more tedious, boring missions to actually make a decent profit back with. So that is my general advice. I think that it is a smart investment to get a small warehouse, though, especially with this double money week here, just so you can get an idea of how crates work, and you can still make some decent cash with the double money this week in a small warehouse. And if you decide, hey, I like special cargo, I like how the missions are, then you can buy a large warehouse. The cheapest one is 1.9 million, and if you like that, then you can buy more, and so on and so forth. I don't think special cargo is awful, and especially when we do have double money weeks, it's not the worst thing ever, but I also don't think it's a great business by any stretch of the imagination, and I wouldn't go telling people to go out there and buy them. So hopefully you enjoyed the video, and as always, if you'd like to see more like it, please consider smashing that subscribe button down below. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.